Kia ora everyone. Welcome again to the Rebecca Ann Knits podcast. I'm Bex. I'm a knitter from the Hutt Valley in Wellington, New Zealand. And this is my little spot where I love to share about all my knitting. Thank you for joining me today. If you are new, huge welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and checking in with me about what I have been making. I have a lot to share with you today in terms of acquisitions because I have had my birthday since I recorded last. And I have lots of knitting to share as well, but some wins, some fails, and lots of works, and of course some plans. So settle in. If you have a hot drink, if you have a project, please enjoy while we chat about some knitting. I just had a nice coffee this morning. It's about 9:30 in the morning. Dropped my kids off at school, switched my washing, dropped my car at the mechanic, gathered up all my knitting, and so now I am here to chat with you. Standard kind of format. What am I wearing? If you've been here before, you will know this is the Lanark Stockinette. It's by Rebecca Clow of the Crater Bayer, and this is a recent finish for me. I know I've worn it on the podcast already, but it is in high rotation for me at the moment. I am loving this sweater. I am 100% going to make more. My next plan is to make one. One of my plans is to make one in this beautiful neutral coloured possum Polworth blend. But yeah, I just absolutely love it. I feel like I have a pink one. I need a neutral one. I need like a navy one. And I could honestly have so many. Maybe a nice deep teal one, but I could make one out of anything that I have and be happy with it because I love this sweater. It is so great. I made this in Miss Babs yarn, who's an American yarn dye that I got on a D-stash, and it was a Polworth silk blend, DK weight. That is all I need to say about that because I've talked about it heaps in previous episodes, but yeah, it was my go-to throw on today, so that's just what I'm wearing. In terms of finished objects, I've only finished one thing since I talked to you last, which is kind of crazy because it's been 2.5 weeks, and I feel like I've done so much knitting, but it just hasn't been a lot of finishing. But that's okay. I didn't bring my blockers. I finished my Summer Sock Camp inspired DK weight socks. I really should have got my blocker. But there you go. I have worn them already, so sorry they don't look pristine, but I was not waiting. These are knit in a combination of the blue is by Mama Wooling and the self-striping is by Amy of Handmaiden, which is on a DK sparkle base. And Mama Wooling's is just her standard plush fingering base, which I held double. And it is on 3.25mm needles. And yeah, they're absolutely lush and lovely. I am enjoying them. Shadow Wrap Heel is standard for me. I really enjoyed those. And they are so snuggly. And they are my first socks for the Crazy Sock Ladies Summer Sock Camp. Yeah, that's the only finished object that I actually have. So I'll talk about some whips now. Probably the one that is closest to being finished is the test knit that I was doing for my daughter Ella. This is by Perfectly Knotted. I can never remember the name of the sweater. But I have finished the body and I have finished the neckline on this one. Oh, it's all scrunched up. So I got to the bottom of that. One of the features of this design is that it's a 2x2 rib, then finished off with rolled stockinette. So you have that at the top, at the collar, and at the bottom of the body, and the sleeve cuffs will be the same. So I just have the sleeves left to go on this, which is lovely. I have actually put it aside since I finished the body and the neckline. I tried it on her. To be honest, it could do with being a touch longer, and the neckline could do with being a touch smaller. I did actually do less rows of rib than the pattern recommended. I did 10 and they did recommend 15. So I might need to go back and just add some length, like the 5 extra rows and a couple more decreases to the collar, because it fits nicely on, but it does sit quite wide, and I think she will find that a little bit annoying about what she can wear underneath it without it showing. And the length is fine, but it wouldn't hurt to be just a little bit longer. But I'm not feeling very inspired to do that right now. Anyway, this test knit is not due until mid-August, and it is only mid-June, so I have some time. I've actually put this one aside because I have some other things I would like to make progress on first. You've probably seen it before, but for this I am using, this is the, look in the label, this is the fingering weight that I am holding. It's a beautiful hand wash fingering weight, and it is a blend of merino, cross, and coloured Polworth. This colourway is called Stay Safe. I think that's quite fitting for my 13-year-old at high school. Absolutely beautiful. I need to cake up this skein because I finished the first one. That's all I have left of the first skein. I am holding it with this just very budget Chinesey mohair, which I've spoken about before. The handle on this is absolutely stunning. The handle on this is like plastic. It's very squeaky. Not loving this, but it was the only thing I had that really paired. And it's fine. I just feel like this is completely acrylic, even though it claims to have natural fibre. I don't believe that it does, but I'm not too worried about it. It looks really nice in the fabric, and my daughter really loves it. So I will get back to that, but not exactly sure when, because I have other things, like I said, other WIPs that are a little bit more pressing. So I'm going to work on those first. Plus, I need to find the motivation to add length, which I should have known better than to shortcut in the first place. I thought I had a good length. I thought it was really good, but I forget. My daughter Ella is about the same height as me, but she doesn't wear her trousers as high-waisted as I do. She tends to like track pants and sporty leggings, but she doesn't wear them as high on her body, and she has quite a long torso. So she actually needs more length in the body than I do, because I wear my pants high and my tops cropped. But that doesn't work for her proportions quite the same way. So, anywho, that one is lovely. It's in one of my In Stitches project bags, which I just absolutely love this one. It's so fun and colourful, and of course I had to have my little green Mickey dinosaur badge on there. So that's a WIP. The cardigan, the Rivendell cardigan that I've been working on for my sister, I haven't done a huge amount on this because, again, I picked it up for quite a while and got to a good finished point on it and then decided to focus on something else. But since I talked to you last, I have finished the back panel. So I want to try it on cord that's knotted. So it's a little bit, I'll try and stretch it out. This is upside down. That is the back panel. This is a drop shoulder design by Sari Nordland. It's called the Rivendell cardigan. And it's all over moss stitch. I'm showing you the inside. This is the actual all over moss stitch with cables down the front V-neck and along the top of the sleeve. I did start the front. I picked up the first front. As you can see there, again, it's got a moss stitch panel here and then some kind of like textured stitches, just knits and purls and twisted stitches there, and then a cable right along what will be the V-neck. Now, this is charted and it's not a difficult chart, but I just couldn't get it memorized. And so I was really finding it slow going, even though this is such a short row. So I put this down because I was just like, yeah, I needed a different headspace just to get into the groove of it. But I have started that. Obviously, I need to knit down to a similar length as the back panel and then do the other side, and then it joins into one big long row. It has double knit button bags, and I still need to get buttons for this because I didn't looked for them at Capital Fibre Fest because I hadn't cast this on yet, and I didn't find anything at Wool Fest that I thought was quite right. So when I go next weekend to Wool Fest in Christchurch, top priority, find buttons for this project. As a reminder, I am using Flight Naturals. Beautiful Kiwi yarn. Don't forget about the Kiwi Make Along. Most of my projects don't count for the Make Along because I had started them before the start date, which you did need to cast on after the 1st of June for them to count. But I'm pretty much knitting with all New Zealand yarns at the moment anyway. Flight Naturals, this is from Skeins, who are one of our more commercial yarn producers in New Zealand. It's New Zealand Merino Super Wash. And this is the colourway Kiwi. It's an undyed colour, and I'm holding it with this alpaca lace weight fluff that I got on a comb from Amy at Yarn on Combs. This is also Chinese, but honestly, it comes on a cone, and this is natural fibres. It has a nylon binder, but it is alpaca, brushed alpaca, and oh my goodness, I think some wool as well. The hand feel on this compared to the green one, miles apart. Like, this is just lovely to work with, and this fabric is going to be absolutely nice. It's got a little bit of structure because of the merino, but then it is super wash, and then I'm holding it with a brushed alpaca, which is quite drapey. So I think it's going to have enough structure to hold the cables, but it's also going to be quite light and drapey to wear. It feels really light. It doesn't feel like it's going to be like this heavy, hefty cabled cardigan. It feels like it's going to be something really wearable. So I'm really excited to get back to this, which I will soon when I have finished the knit that I am doing for this sister's daughter. My niece, it's her first birthday coming up at the beginning of July. She's having a joint birthday and dedication, kind of christening but without the water part, celebration the first weekend of July. And so I had said to my sister that I would knit her daughter a garment for her birthday, and she had asked for an all-over ribbed pullover, which I mentioned last time was going to be my Kiwi Make Along cast on, and I did. I cast it on June 1st, and it is going to be frogged. I will show you what it looks like. It's kind of off the needles now, but this is how far I got before I realized that I was knitting for a 1-year-old, and this very stretchy half fisherman's rib sweater that I've been knitting away on is big enough to fit my 10-year-old. Yeah, this is supposed to be oversized, but that is way oversized for a 1-year-old. So this has been ripped off the needles, thrown in the corner and abandoned, which is maybe a wee bit dramatic, but honestly, half fisherman's rib in the round is a slog. I was not enjoying it. It is slow progress. I was also having real struggles with my beginning of round. It looks really janky, and I was not very happy with gifting something that looked like that anyway. And I think that really downed my motivation on this project, which just made it feel like a complete slog. So once I got to the split for the front and the back to do it flat, which is actually easier and quicker knitting it flat than in the round, I tried it. My daughter was watching me knit it, and she's like, "Mum, that's way too big. That would fit me." And she tried it on, and yes, it would fit her. So all this work has been thrown in the corner, and I will most likely frog this. I don't think I have enough yarn to complete this in my daughter's size. I would have to do at least double this amount of knitting for the body, and then I just can't even face half fisherman's rib. I mean, and like, you'd need to do it for the sleeves as well, and it would be beautiful, but I don't think I have enough yarn to make that size, and I don't want to do it. So I'm not going to. So this will most likely eventually get frogged, Or I don't know what else I could do with this. Any suggestions of what this could become that doesn't involve much work? Or it'll just get frogged. For this, I was using Highland Heathers by Skeins, which is obviously a New Zealand yarn for the New Zealand knit along. It's sport weight New Zealand 100% wool in this beautiful heathered purpley shade. It's called Rosewell. I really love this yarn, but it's also quite a rustic yarn. It's a woolly wool. It's a non-superwash 100% wool. Sport weight held double. It's squishy, but it's not particularly soft. So maybe it wasn't the best pick for a little one anyway. So since that got thrown in the corner, I needed to start fresh for my niece because there's only another 2.5 weeks until her birthday. I decided, the pattern I was using is called Rose Fisherman's Sweater, and it's by Caroline from Yee Yarn at New Zealand. Originally French, but New Zealand-based designer. So I was doing the double, but, it just didn't work out for me. So I'm just not being afraid to say, that didn't work. Chuck that in the corner. We'll think about what that can become, or what I will do with that, or whether it will become something, or whether it just get frogged another day. Let's cast on and start again for my niece. So I had a really good hunt on Ravelry for projects that are all over rib, 1 year old sized sweaters. I could literally find nothing that wasn't fisherman's rib or half fisherman's rib. I'm like, but you go online and you look at Jamie Kay, or you look at all these like nice children's wear kind of commercial clothing stores, and it's all about the like oversized rib sweater. But I just couldn't find any knitting patterns that really gave the same vibe other than that one. And I decided I'm not starting again with that. Also, full disclosure, I did not gauge swatch for that sweater. So it's totally my fault that it turned out the wrong size and not the pattern. Anyway, in the end, I decided that if I was going to get this done before my niece's birthday, I needed something that was top down, that I was confident in knitting the right size, and that I was confident in the pattern. So I went eventually to Petite Knit, which I hardly ever have knit any of Petite Knit's things. I've knit more of her children's things than her adults' garments. But that's where I went, and I went for the Anchors jumper because it has the rib texture at the top, but then it's stockinette for the rest. And I did toy with the idea of continuing the rib design all the way through, but I decided that I didn't want to use the amount of brain power that would take, and so I was just going to knit it as written, which I think is a perfectly acceptable choice. And if my sister, it's not exactly the inspiration that she sent, but it is still a top-down pullover with rib that will look stunning on her 1-year-old once it's done. So the yoke went through really quickly. Really love it. It's a circular yoke and then finished off with raglan increases there. And I'm almost done on the body. I have about 4 more centimetres to do, and then the rib, which will be 1 way on rib to match with the yoke, and then the sleeves. So I'm actually really happy with that. I am really enjoying this. I am knitting it on, I think, 4mm needles. Yep, 4mm needles. It's a 20 stitch gauge, I believe. I am using, because I really liked the heatheriness of the Highland Heathers, and I decided to use this yarn because my sister had asked for purple, and this was one of the ones that was in contention when I started the fisherman's sweater, but it didn't make the cut, but in the end it was the better choice. Chatswood, also by Skeins, New Zealand yarn, recycled fibre blend, DK weight, so there's 104 metres in a ball of 50 grams. And this is one of the limited edition colourways that they did right at the end of Skeins owning their own mill, because they made this yarn from all their recycled fibre blend leftovers. This is called Land's End. This is the beautiful kind of dusky purple. Now Chatswood is still hand wash. It isn't a machine washable yarn, but it is much softer than the Highland Heathers. And yeah, I think it will be fine. It'll be a hand wash sweater, but it will be all good. This pattern was written for like worsted weight, so I have actually been holding it with a strand of cone mohair from Yarn on Cone. I can't quite remember the blend of this one. I think it is also an alpaca mohair wool blend. And this pale lilac, so I'm holding these two together, which is actually quite dense at a 20 stitch gauge. But it's making a really lovely warm fabric, which I think will felt very easily. So I will be giving my sister very specific washing instructions. Cold hand wash. Then spin it to get the water out in your machine and then flat dry. Okay, that needs to be how this will be treated. But it is really lush, really warm, really lovely. You can see that just gentle heathering of the mohair there, which I think just gives it a little bit more interest than it being just a flat colour. Because there's not a lot of, the yoke is the only real interest in this jumper. I should get the body finished today, I hope. I'm not working today, so hopefully I'll get a good amount of time after I film this podcast to knit on that. Finish the body at least. And then, should get through the sleeves. I am on quite quickly. I'm a bit scattered, sorry. I'm on my second ball of Chatswood. I had a sweater quantity my size in this yarn, which is why I was kind of reluctant to use it, because then that means I don't have a sweater quantity my size left over. Once I've used it, I will probably get through this ball and one more. I think it takes, I might get the sleeves done in one ball. I don't think I'll use all of this to finish the body. So I think one more ball, so 3 balls, 150 grams, 300 meters-ish should be about right. I'm really, really enjoying this knit. I'm so much happier than I was knitting the other one. And I think it'll still be a really lovely gift. And even if it isn't exactly the inspiration my sister asked for, it's still a purple hand knit pullover for her 1-year-old, which will look super cute. And I feel like I want to buy her a little pair of jeggings or jean style pants that she could wear this with for the winter, which I think would be super cute. Right, so that's the main thing I've been knitting on since the other one flopped. I did have a whole week off work last week. I really thought I was going to get so much knitting done. But honestly, I was so tired. I really crashed. That I didn't actually do anywhere near. I just didn't have a lot of mental capacity over that last week. So I didn't, the Rivendell was, doing that cable chart was just hard, whereas it shouldn't have been hard. But anyway, absolutely loving what I got to. And I did get the length and the collar on the chestnut done, which was really good. What else do I have that I have been working on? Other than that, mostly only socks. And then I have all my birthday acquisitions to share with you and a couple of plans. Oh, so I'll talk about my socks. Now I'll talk about this because this is another sweater project. Oh, it's come off its needle. Okay, that's something to check. I have shown this before. This is the very beginnings of a sweater scarf cardigan that I am knitting, that I said that I would knit for a workmate of mine. I cast it on and I have done maybe half of the rib. I am again using Flight Naturals. She chose this yarn herself and purchased it, and I said that I would knit it up. We did not, she said that she would pay me to knit it, but we did not actually discuss what kind of compensation would be involved in me knitting it for her. I don't know, we'll deal with that when I get to it. But I'm keen to get this back on my needles and out of my queue. So Flight Naturals by Skeins, same as the one I'm doing for my sister, but this is the fingering weight 4-ply. This is the DK weight 8-ply. And this colorway is called Falcon. And I'm doing the sweater scarf by Knititude. And it's basically a tube of rib, a big long swath of flat knitting, and then a tube of rib, and you wear it wrapped around like a wrap, cardigan, scarf, but it doesn't do up. It just, you can have the crossover in the front. Oh, sorry, microphone. Or crossover in the back. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of a boring knit, but I'm keen to get this back on my needles and making progress because I would like to have it done. And I promised 2 months ago that I would knit it, and I haven't yet. So that one's playing on my brain a little bit. Not that she gave me a timeline, and I checked with her recently whether she had a timeline that she wanted it for, and she said no. But it kind of does just play on my brain. So I want to get that moving forward. Also, it's a very basic, easy knit that I can easily do without really thinking about it. So it'll be a good basic one just to have on the needles alongside the Rivendell, which is a little bit more involved. So I am going to be working on that coming up. As soon as I'm finished Lila's my niece. Lilac colour for Lila. I love that. As soon as I have finished her sweater, then I will be picking this one up as my kind of basic stockinette, and then I'll have my sister's Rivendell cardigan as my more complicated knit. And then once one of those are done, I will go back to Ella's cardigan and do the jumper and do the sleeves, the test knit one, and custom other things. That's my plan. I'll talk about the plan soon, but that is a whip. So again, doesn't really count for the Kiwi Knit Along, even though it's in Kiwi Yarn because I had already started it. But that's fine. I will be knitting on it anyway. And socks wise, I finished the DK Weight here, like I said. These have been I finished one of these. These have been my walking and knitting socks for quite a while. I cast these on much earlier in the year, or even the end of last year, in the summertime anyway. But I was just knitting away at it on a tube with this beautiful yarn that was one of Marina from Strawberry Patch's Mermaid Club colourways. The very first one, maybe. I wasn't able to stay in that club, unfortunately. I just didn't have the funds to do another monthly commitment. But I did get this one, which is really beautiful. I used most of the mini that came with this for those little gloves I made my girlfriend's daughter. And so I just had a tiny bit left. So I just did the very end of the toe in the purple, which came with it. And for these ones, we did a folded picot cuff, which is very cute. That's just like a yarn over knit two together round with kind of 5 rows knit straight first and then sew it down. Super easy, super effective. I generally do this for ankle socks because with not having the elasticity of the rib, they don't stay up the leg particularly well, so just for a shorty sock. And then I actually did an afterthought heel on these, but I did do my favourite shadow wrap heel, but I did it as an afterthought, still in the same colourway, because I didn't have anything else that particularly went well with this colourway. Yeah, so that was fine. And so I just picked up as I would have for a normal afterthought heel, but instead of working up the two sides with decreases like I do for a toe, I just knit my up and over shadow wrap heel and then kitchened the row together at the other side. Instead of kitchening here, I kitchened here. Yeah, so it worked fine. It's probably not quite as tidy, but it's what it is. That's what I felt like doing, so that's what I did. So the first one of those is done, and I have started the second one. Here we go. I am this far along. Obviously, it's cuffed down. I have this beautiful stitch marker on here from Rainbows and Sprinkles. Oh, it's backwards. There we go. Beautiful little butterfly. Can you see that? Colorways just go perfectly. So you can see I've done knit 5 rows, do a yarn over, knit 2 together, and then when you fold that and sew it down, it makes the picot. Now I could have knitted the 2 stitches together, but I was walking and knitting, so I just wanted something simple, so I'll just tack it down. So I'm just working on the leg of that. I took that on a lovely walk the other day. Thoroughly enjoying my walking at the moment. Just gonna see how much more leg I've got to do. Oh yeah, I'm actually nearly at the heel point, so I might even try and get the heel done just on, without doing an afterthought, since I did the shadow wrap heel, and then carry on with the tube. We'll see. We'll see if I get to it before I go on my next walk, and if I go on my next walk, I'll probably just want to carry on doing the tube. Here's the rest of my cake. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful yarn. Marina's sock blend. I'm loving that. These are my birthday cast on socks. Now, I wasn't going to cast anything on for my birthday because I had so many whips already, but I couldn't resist because I had been hoarding this beautiful Gobstopper ball by Amy of Handmaiden for about 6 months, and kind of had it in my mind that I would save it for a birthday cast on. This is a beautiful all pinks colourway on her Silver Stellina sparkle base and a gorgeous Gobstopper ball. I mean, just look at that. Can you see the sparkles? It's only a subtle sparkle, but oh, it's so lovely. And so this was my birthday cast on sock, and so I cast this on my birthday, and I have made it through the heel. I did actually use a yarn from Stash for the heel. Also a silver sparkle base is this one here. The cake is getting a bit messy, but just the soft pink, also with Silver Stellina sparkle. I thought it went a bit better than it did. It's kind of the wrong tone of pink, but anyway, it is what it is now. It's a heel. You're not really going to see it. But just a kind of mid-length cuff there. I did 2 colour repeats, and I'm just going through the foot. Really enjoying those. Fingering weight, 2.25mm needles for that. I do find the Gobstopper balls slightly annoying. Like, I can't take this on a walk because, well, I could if I carried a little over-the-wrist bag to knit from, but usually I like to have like 50 grams in a cake, and I stick it in I wear like active leggings, and I put them in the side pocket of my active leggings with a top centre pull, and that I find is just the best way to walk and knit. It just goes smoothly, and you don't have to worry about your yarn running away or unraveling it. It just pulls beautifully from the centre, and you can just knit. So that's what I normally do, and I find that quite a struggle with a Gobstopper ball. So I am quite tempted. They're so pretty. But once I have finished this sock, to actually cake this, which seems a real shame. It seems a real shame to cake it because it's just so pretty in this hand wound Gobstopper ball. But yeah, I might, because then I could take this one walking. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll see which one gets completed first, because if I finish this one, it'd be good to have the second one of these as my walking sock. But if this one's still long going, like got heaps left to go when this one's finished, then maybe I won't bother. These could be my sparkle socks, because I can use a rolly ball in the sparkle and my handy dandy ice cream container. This is how I knit in my sparkle. Have you ever tried knitting in water? It's so fun. I have a sparkle. It's my husband and I's thing that we do to catch up, to reconnect, because we both live quite ships in the night lives with me doing shift work. And if you put your ball of yarn in an ice cream container, it will float. And so I take this in my sparkle and knit on socks. It has to be a small project so that it doesn't dangle into the water. But so socks is all I really do, but I knit my socks in the spa. These ones have been my Sparkle socks, and these are another DK weight pair. 3.25 millimeter needles. If I'm doing a DK weight sock yarn, and historically I've used a 3 millimeter needle. So like when I was doing this, but what I find is when I hold fingering weight double, it feels too hard on your hands, too dense to do on a 3. It's nicer on a 3.25. But I do feel like this fabric here of just the straight DK weight fingering weight, DK weight sock yarn is a little bit loose gauge for a sock on a 3.25. So these ones I'm doing with a fingering weight and 2 lace weight strands of mohair on a 3.25 because I started it with 1 strand of the mohair and it didn't feel like a dense enough gauge for these needles, and these are the needles I had. So I decided to add 2 strands of the mohair, and it's a very fine cone yarn mohair from Amy on Yarn Cone, and it's quite elasticy actually. It's probably going to be really good for socks. There's like 1,200 meters to 100 grams on this, so it's very fine versus, you know, your normal weight mohair is more like 800. So 2 strands makes sense, and I am using the rest of my beautiful, well, that's blowing out, Hedgehog Fibers yarn that I've made 1 pair of fingering weight socks with, and I'm now using the rest of it for DK weight socks. So that pink mohair and that pink fingering weight is producing this beautiful sock. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I cast on 42 stitches for my leg, and I have started on my DK weight socks at least of doing a small gusset increase before I do my shadow wrap heel. Otherwise, I just find that the heel is not quite deep enough with the smaller stitch count that you need for a DK weight sock. So I cast on 42 stitches for my cuff and leg, and then I increased up. I increased 4 stitches on each side before I knit the heel, did my normal shadow wrap heel, and then I decreased those 4 stitches through here. 4 stitches total actually. I did 2 rows of increasing at here and here. So I did increase, increase, knit a row round straight, increase, increase, knit a row round straight. So I increased 4 stitches overall for the heel width, and then I decreased those once I'd finished the heel and I was going into the foot. So there is a very small gusset there, and I'm quite happy to do that. I learnt that from the Black Cat's Favourite Socks by Alana from Lupine and Black Cat Knitting Society. I test knit her toe-up socks, and she had that gusset in there, and like a short row heel, and it's really lovely. I love the fit of those socks. I'm not usually bothered enough to do it on my fingering weight socks. Like I didn't do the increases on this pair. I just did my shadow wrap heel with the stitch count, and I don't have a problem usually with that. But for the DK weight ones, I do find that it's really beneficial. Did I do it on these ones? Yep, I did it on these ones too. You can see there's just a little line of increases and decreases amongst that heel. I should really do it on fingering weight pair and see if it's actually assists in the fit of those two. But often I just get on a roll when I just like forget. But I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like starting my heel and I'm like, oh, I didn't do the gusset increases, because it's not hard. It's really simple, but you've just got to be mindful enough to be doing it. And often I'm not very mindful with my socks. Usually my socks are my mindless project. But enough about socks. These I am so excited to wear because I absolutely love this colorway, and Hedgehog Fibers is such an expensive yarn here in New Zealand that it is quite the bougie pair of socks. So I am excited to wear them. I hope I have guesstimated my amounts well enough, because did I weigh it? No. There's not a huge amount left on this cake. I might have to, hopefully, it's really blowing out. It's not quite that fluoro. I do have the lights on in here today because it's really quite gloomy. I hope I have enough. I maybe should have been a bit more careful. I mean, at the end of the day, I could, if I run out, I could chop this sock. Or I could do a contrast toe. Maybe I'll do a contrast toe anyway. Just a solid pink. I'm sure I could find something solid pink that would go so that I can just preserve a little bit more for the other sock. You know, spontaneous cast-ons don't always work out as perfectly as planned cast-ons. But anyway, that's my socks. That's all my whips that I am actively working on. I obviously have other hibernating whips that I haven't got back to, the crochet blanket, the Stella quilt blanket, and the night shift shawl, and the Fresh Flowers cardigan. All of which are lingering in my knitting box waiting to be picked up again. But they will just have to keep lingering because I have enough things on my needles. And I have one other plan that is a little bit more imminent than any of them. So, just go. It's my knitting. I can cast on if I want to, and I can leave things in hibernation if I want to. It's totally up to me, as long as it's not filling my mental space too much and making me feel stressed about my knitting, which is not. Then it's all good. Coffee's going cold because I'm very good at talking. Okay. Like I mentioned, it's been my birthday since I last recorded, so I do have some acquisitions to show with you, to share with you and show you. I had a lovely birthday. I had the best time going out to Joy of Yarn, Joy of Yarn in Wellington City with my friend Adi. We had a fabulous day out and did a little bit of yarn shopping. Didn't go overboard because, of course, I'd already been to Capital Fibre Fest and Wool Fest, and I still have Wool Fest to go. But I did get some beautiful yarns there, and I did get gifted some lovely yarns from a friend too. So I'm going to share those with you now. What did I get at Joy of Yarn? Sock yarn, of course. I got this beautiful rainbow skein. Oh, rainbow. I also finished a couple of other things that I haven't talked about. I got this beautiful rainbow skein, and we will come back to this. That can just be a teaser. I also, this is why I didn't knit that much on my week off, because I speed knit a beanie for my brother. My husband, on his way overseas, if you were here for my last episode, you would have heard me talk about how my husband had been asked to go on a pretty spontaneous, like 10 days notice, overseas business trip, and we were scrambling to try and bring everything together so that he could go. And we did manage to do that, and he flew out from Christchurch, so he flew down to Christchurch, and my sister, who I made the colour work slip over for, and my brother lived down there. And I had a fair bit of leftovers from that colour work slip over of the brushtail possum yarn, and I said to my brother, would you like a beanie? I'll try to send it down with Kevin in. He said yes. So I speed knit a beanie for my brother the week before Kevin left. So in between my last episode and not the weekend just been, the one before. And so I'll put in a picture because it already went to him. So I finished it and sent it down. I ended up holding 2 strands, one of the brushtail and one of another skeins possum blend yarn to get a gentle marl, and just did a variation on the baker's hat that I had knit myself earlier this year. So I just had 4-point decreases at the top, and I did 1x1 rib. I was originally intending to do the whole hat 1x1 rib, but it was going to take too long. So I converted to the second half being stockinette. It has a fold-up brim, really warm and snuggly. I've got a photo of me wearing it and a photo of that, so I'll put that in. And I also finished the socks for my daughter, the rainbow tube that I was working on. Don't think I'd finished them last episode. And she decided she did not want me to put heels on them. She only wanted toes, and she wanted to wear them like tube socks so they could fit her forever. So, okay. Oh, sure. So I put little white toes on them, and she is now wearing them as tube socks without a heel, which is random to me, but that's what she wanted to do. So I said, okay, you can do that, and I'll put in a photo of those. That's what reminded me that I'd missed those things, because I said rainbow, and those were rainbow. That was Knit Picks Felici, which was really fun to knit up. Oh my gosh, I'm talking so fast and so much, but I've just got to talk about my acquisitions and then we'll be done. Okay, so we'll go back to the beautiful rainbow yarn. I've got it upside down. Wool of Yarn, Wool of Yarn, I said it again, Joy of Yarn, birthday outing. I brought this Lang Yarns, beautiful silver stellina sparkle rainbow sock yarn. This is 400 meters to 100 grams, and it's made in Italy. And I'm just looking for what the fiber composition is. 75% virgin wool and 73% virgin wool, 25% nylon, and 2% polyester. It's just this really gorgeous, pretty rainbow sock yarn. So that will become some socks of some description. Probably vanilla, because it'll be quite busy. I also purchased from James at Joy of Yarn one of his hand-dyed yarns. This one is so bright, but it was just so fun that I had to get it. It is almost as bright as that. This is James from Joy of Yarns. Whoops, sorry, throwing things away here. Logo and label, and this is his sock base. He hand-dyes these himself. And this is called Ecstasy, and it is 400 meters, 75% wool and 25% nylon. Absolutely beautiful. Really fluoro, like corally, orangey, pinky. Fun colours. So I got those two from Joy of Yarn, and my beautiful husband. I had said no presents this year because I've been going to all these wool festivals and buying myself so much yarn that I felt like I didn't need anything else. But he couldn't do nothing, which was very sweet of him. And so he organised and actually dropped off a beautiful bouquet of flowers to James at Joy Yarn when he arrived at work in the morning, because this shop is just down the road from where he works. And then when I went in, James gave me the bouquet, and it was just, it was so sweet. I mean, I didn't have to carry a bouquet of flowers around town with me for the rest of the day, but it was absolutely beautiful and very sweet. I'll put a photo of me at Joy of Yarn with the bouquet. So that was very cool. I had a really lovely birthday. I also got gifted for my birthday, excuse rustling, this beautiful Sweater quantity of Black Pearl. This is a Skeins yarn again, and my girlfriend Helen brought me this. It's called Grenda, and it's a recycled fibre blend of merino and alpaca. It's a DK weight, and she brought me 12 balls at 113 meters each. So I have enough to make pretty much anything I would like in my size. And it's like my favourite shade of pink, which I'm so excited to knit this up. Don't know exactly what it will become yet. I was actually thinking maybe a dress. You know how if you've been around a while, you would have seen back in the summertime I finished a dress by Tora Yu. It's the city top and has mods so you can make it into a dress, and so it's kind of just like a tank top style top, but I made it dress length, and I thought, that would be very nice. I would like that. So maybe that, if not another sweater of some description. So she gave me that, and she also gave me this beautiful one-off ball of Waikiwi sock yarn that she got on Destash, which she knew I would love because I love Waikiwi. And look at this. Try not to drop balls of yarn into my coffee. I have this one-off ball of Waikiwi as well. Look how cool these would look in a stripy sock. I'm excited for that. I also have leftovers from my Ariandel, so I thought that would look really cool in a stripy sock. But also, so with that, and I would have enough. So I could do stripy socks with these. DIY stripy socks. So exciting! Anyway, absolutely love that. Thank you, Helen. It was very delightful birthday gift. And I signed up because I'm good like that to Mama Willing Sock Club again because I was having serious FOMO for not signing up for that this year. And so I signed up for her sock club again, and I managed to get in on time to get her June colourway, which arrived on my birthday, which was so fabulous. So this was the June colourway from Mama Willing's Anything Goes sock club. She has no real theme this year. It's just whatever the dyer decides to dye, which I quite love. This real moody purple with this beautiful pinky pop. And she called it Sultry. I love that. So that was the June colourway. And because Sarah is the most delightful person in the whole world, she sent me this beautiful, one-of-a-kind, random skein for free in my package just because it was my birthday. And I'm just delighted. This is an unknown, unnamed colourway. She said she did a custom order for somebody once, and this one was left over. It was an extra, and she didn't know really what it was, and so she's given it to me. It appears to be her sport base because it's definitely plumper than the plush fingering. So it's about 300 meters, and I think I'm going to make a Sugarboo bralette with this. Because I have been thinking that it would be really nice to have some little woolen singlet style tops or bralettes to wear under my scrubs at work, because it's often, generally in the hospital, it's too hot to wear like a full like thermal or underlayer under your scrubs, but it does also get a bit nippy when you're working night shifts, and just to have a base layer of wool would be really nice, but not like a singlet or like a bralette. So I think there should be enough meterage here to do that. So that's what I think I will use this for. It's so pretty. Oh no, my microphone has completely died and I was not able to have time to re-record this section of the podcast. So I am going to leave it here for today. I'm so sorry that you missed out on the rest of my acquisitions and some wee chat, but I'm heading to Woolfest this coming weekend, and so I will be back hopefully next week to share with you about that. This is the sock tube from my West Yorkshire Spinners yarn that I brought at Woolfest. I'm just showing you here. But yes, I will be back again soon. I am really excited to share some more about my projects and my acquisitions, and I had a couple of other birthday things to show you, which I will pop in to the next episode since they got missed here. Wishing you all the very best with your knitting and your crafting, and I hope to see you again soon. Ka kite anō.